we dance on a bright cloud of music? Shall we fly? Shall we dance? Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye? Or perchance, when the last little star is in the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be my new romance, with a clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Dance on a bright cloud of music. Shall we fly? Shall we dance? Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye? Oh, perchance, perchance, when the last little star is in the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be my new romance, with a clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye? Oh, perchance, perchance, then the last little star is in the sky. Tell me, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be shall you be my new romance with a clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen. Shall we dance? 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 Shall we dance?
I live in the future. I bury all my treasures. Hear it? It's growing! An orange mango tree! I planted the seeds myself. My ears are supersonic! Raisin and 3 grape seeds. Dirt. Everybody likes dirt. And grass. Soft and wet. Wet. The adult human body is about 70% water. And water has perfect memory. It's forever trying to reclaim the valley it runs through, the banks there were, its original place. Beneath the river, time stretches like breath. Dirt at the bottom of the river is pre-river, like breath is pre-sound. Pre-river nourishes breath, the carrier of human language, a carrier of human identity, names, a sense of self, brains, creates worlds in telling. Legend telling, fact telling, truth telling, lie telling, myth telling, story telling. Los Angeles is a watery town, in name only. Streets with names like Spring, Glendale, Atwater remind there was once water. El Rio de Los Angeles is a lady, cross-dressing and temperamental with secrets hiding among glistening oil black earth. A flood of wild grapes, giant sunflowers in infinity of rose bushes and in plain sight. A flock of cinnamon teals, curving alders, and white-tipped cottonwoods in the hips of her rich, fragrant, dangerous, musical wet beds. Soy de Angelino. I like the sound of that. Whenever something puts me in the frame of mind or being, words I don't like, I just melt them down into new frames. To name is to possess, Margaret. It's my freedom from. It's my freedom to. A frame of my choosing. It's fast, it's easy, it's convenient, it's... It's Howard Kemp. It's only the second time in my life he's called. His voice is unsettling. Huh, a long distance call. Who even says that anymore? I've had 7 days to pick him up from the airport. So I fake clean my apartment, shoving, pushing, squeezing, hiding all the tale-telling signs, all the juicy bits of my life in corners, in cabinets, under beds. It's a mad dash. Soon, only 14 days, and he'll be gone, and, he'll get back to grab the keys, and turn back for one last look. It's so Mary Tyler Moore, isn't it? I have a graffiti artist friend, Gabriel, who's always interrupting our impromptu Spanish lessons with, "You are so Mary Tyler Moore. You are so Mary Tyler Moore. You're like a black dreadlock, Mary Tyler Moore." I would be offended if I didn't embrace my Mary Tyler Moore-ness. I could smile my happy, this is going to sting smile. Mary hovers in the threshold of her apartment, waving at faces we can't see, just the flip sides of backs of heads. Mary has flowers. I don't. I would if I could. I love flowers and grass, ice cushions for humans. So, here I am, at the edge of my apartment. Hatch is bad now. Good. I am off to the airport. You might just make it. What kind of theme song is that? Still, Mary is my inspiration for transformation and abandonment of the past. I copied her and headed west. We both had to be as far from as possible. Mary arrived in Minneapolis, the home of Rhoda Morgenstern, and I arrived in El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, la Reina de Los Angeles, Porcelain, the home of the Tonga tribe. The Tonga tribe are Los Angeles indigenous settlers. The tribe, like Rhoda, can dance, wear distinctive outfits, and put up a fight for the place they call home. Get out of my apartment! No, there's no discussion here. Would I be out there in the snow washing the windows of your apartment? I did that for my apartment. Would I spend an entire month's salary on new carpeting for you? I don't know you. I never saw you before. It's for me I did it. Rhoda baptizes Mary. I'm going to call you Mare. Under Mare, the missionary rule, Rhoda prospers. Under the Spanish Padres' missionary rule, the Tonga tribe is not so lucky. The tribe is nearly completely destroyed, and the surviving few settle in the Yanga village on the banks of El Rio. El Rio's beauty attracts fortune seekers. They come in waves, seeking freedom from their homeland, freedom from their home religion, freedom from themselves too. Arcadia on the Pacific shores. This they vote to give the village a new name, Los Angeles. And this they vote to burn the Yanga village to the ground. The goal was to eradicate the Tonga tribe. Mission accomplished. extinguished village. Once there was a village. Los Angeles. Secrets. El Rio keeps. The village and the people are gone, but El Rio remembers the songs, the dances, the tales. El Rio sings and splashes and talks in vapors, and sometimes in effort to reclaim, she spills her guts. Like in 1935, 35 square miles, up, and over her banks. River, you've gone too far. Ambush! They tear the river, its language. Pull up the truck and start pouring in. They are the Army Corps of Engineers, and they don't fight fair. They never do. What's left of her? 54-mile concrete casket, open casket that cuts through the center of the city. Renamed the Los Angeles River, she cannot absorb or possess water, and whenever it rains for months or rains and rains for weeks, we think of her. Extinguished river. Once there was a river. Extinguished people. Dirt. Freeways. The 5 freeway to LAX mirrors the tune. Bump, bump, heartbeat go the wheels of my car. Not the river. Once there was a river. Beneath the river, time stretches like breath. 2 more miles to LAX. Vroom! My father's first trip to the United States from the islands was in 1944. Every time I see my Aunt May, she says, he might as well have told me he was going to the moon, Atlanta. He left Nassau, Bahamas, a young man, and arrived in Miami 3 hours later, a boy. Disappointed, but confident that the change of status is only temporary, he went on to Atlanta, where he arrived 3 days later, still a boy. Confidence mixed with disappointment made him itchy-footed and curious. He would tell me, I took a trip across the country by train. No details about the went or the to, but just went. Oh, I love that plummy story of adventure. And as regular as a Hamilton watch, I'd be pulling on the sleeve of his cuff-linked shirt saying, Daddy, will you off to seek your fortune? Will you off to seek your fortune? Never any juice, just the skin. I possess only the idea of my father really. What were the circumstances of his birth? When? Does he prefer the United States to the Bahamas? Why? Swim in my head, but his answer's only, let me see the backs of heads. As he smiles, waving goodbye for the last time. His own little Mary Tyler Moore smile. I can hear my friend Gabriel saying it now. Your papi is so Mary Tyler Moore. Your papi is so Mary Tyler Moore. He's like a black Bahamian man. Mary Tyler Moore. From state to state, it took me 3 months to get to Chicago, where they call it the Darkie. 3 more months to Utah, George. Took me 3 more months to get to Nevada, Color. I took a hook around. Took me 6 months to get to Boston. Negro. I thought I had the best chance there. Today, it'll just take him 14 hours to get from Nassau, Bahamas to Los Angeles, and he'll arrive an African Caribbean man. It only took me 45 minutes to get to LAX, and still Angelino. And I'm 30 minutes early, so I'll plop down outside the see-through partition, and somehow I'm convinced his bulletproof glass separates the arrivals from the already here's, and I'll wait. And I'll wait. Oh, no, it's the airport, so I'll wait. This hallway harbor mist dissolves individual travelers indistinguishable. Dense human fog. Beep, 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 beep. The fog burns off to vapor. Blood relative approaching. My sonar detects before my eyes can tell with assurance that, when did you get so old? It's him. One eye concealed by hat on head, he bobs in the hallway, harbor going from visible to invisible and back again. His face is crumpled like an ancient clay cup. Polite to strangers, he nods, begging pardons as he inches his way along. He sees me now, takes the last few steps towards me. He raises his hand in my direction and, "Hello, Pigpen." So soon. How is it possible that it takes a 747 6 hours to get from Miami to Los Angeles, but it only takes 3 seconds and 3 tiny words to shift the landscape beneath my feet? Splish splash. I am ankle deep. It's a blue hole in the bottomless Caribbean, a Teutonic shift in Los Angeles. 2010, 2009, 2008, the hallway harbor travelers become the Caribbean chorus community on the street where I grew up. I grasped for anything to stop the slide. I thought high. Snow and a water weed just saved me. Waist deep. In the frame of a name, I am transformed. Eyelash deep. Down, down. Will the fall ever end? Oh, cool. An afro pick. Hey, watch out. That thing could be dangerous. Cool. It's Christy Love. Hey, you're under arrest, sugar. No, you're under arrest, sugar. Not cool. Bell bottoms. Fashion faux pas. The name Pigpen is a thumb on one of those flip books filled with giant images, like the ones I was so hooked on as a child. Take ballet lessons after school. And here I am, on Columbia Road, Dorchester, Massachusetts, Boston, where I grew up, on the crowd. My throat fills with smoke. We watch flames breathe. I'm too small to see. My screen is a movie screen flickering in the pavement. Splashes red, orange, white, and blue. The purple moon reflects the now this moment has become. My ears fill with crackle and pop, crackle and pop, crackle and pop. It's like a giant's LP whose endless sputter never ends. Flames, boogie. This is how 19 Columbia Road burns to the ground. There once was a neighborhood where on sparkling spring mornings you could hear the shh, shh, shh of a little girl's fingers in dirt as she buries her treasures. My ears are supersonic. I live in the future. I bury all my treasures. Once there was a neighborhood where on a cool afternoon, a realtor who happened to be making a killing inciting white flight might have heard an amazing grace. Here I come, Kelly cake, Kelly cake, Kelly cake. This is how you bring a family recipe 3,000 miles. You wrap it up tight and you bring it home fresh. Marina, you know you are a marvel. You're not talking to me. You know you're talking to that cake. You know it. Mr. Kemp, would you please bless the table? Bless this food for our nourishment and our lives to thy service, and keep us ever mindful of the needs of others. Amen. Please be black. Please pass the peas and rice. And not empowered enough to earn the height required to be African American. Please pass the cassava. You mean yuca? I mean cassava. I'm not from Brazil. Please pass the yellowtail snapper. Please pass the shrimp. And please pass the lobster. The hot sauce. And Mr. Finlayson, you know this grouper here is sublime. Tell me, man, where did you find grouper here? I didn't. My sister, she brought it on her lap on the plane. We are quiet Negroes, moist with our Caribbean. We come here with sand in our pockets, hope on our breath, and you mustn't forget us. You mustn't forget us, and remember, send a little bit back every month. Send just a little. Bound to our families and our neighborhoods by an indigenous dream. Freedom to make this little neighborhood our new home. Once there was a neighborhood where on a cool morning you might hear the shh, shh, shh of a little girl's fingers in dirt as she buries her seeds. Once there was a neighborhood where on a warm evening, a realtor who happened to be making a killing practicing restrictive covenants might have heard hearts aflutter. Stars shining up above you, night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore trees, dream a little dream of me. The gathering glides into our French provincial plastic-coated living, no, dancing room where it, and no, this way. No old-timey rake and scrape, jug and jump, sweaty island dancing. Daddy says, Daddy prefers a new American Louis Armstrong crowd, sometimes Blair and Cher and Ella. Say night-night and kiss me. The genetic dances mutate into an Arthur Murray-studied smooth American foxtrot, cha-cha-cha, two-step, just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. While I'm all alone as blue as can be, dream a little dream of me. Flesh guided by spirits, feet guided by hearts aflutter. I'm all gooey inside, watching the adults enjoy grace. Howard and Olivia, you know, really do have it all. Crazy child. All this. Home. Thank you. My mom talks English, but breathes in Spanish. Her secrets are in her breathing. Listen. Mi niña está corazón. Mi niña está corazón. But no. Teaching this little girl Spanish, Daddy says. I like the sounds. My ears feel crackling. There once was a neighborhood where on a warm evening, a federal housing authority man who came to draw a big red line might hear a sometimes joke. Hey! Treasures, experience, secrets she calls them. Let's see, where venting. She's curious, like me. Curiosity brought me here, to Boston. I'd never seen snow before I got here. And now I have, and I like it. See, streets out there. Here, home, family. This is not a house. Home means something to me. See, winter saves water and soil, pushes it down to spring. Come out, crack it open with your hands, and it's wonderful. Wonderful. Just took a picture with my mind. Have it with me forever. First time I did that, took a picture with my mind. I was in Utah, standing with a fella that had a voice like an alligator. Howard Kemp's my name. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, I said. Good to meet you, George, he said. His alligator way of talking. You see, back then, they called all of us George. Now, I heard there was a mountain near the train station. I'd never seen a mountain. I really wanted to go, so I decided to walk. And this fella, that had a voice like an alligator, said he would walk with me. Smart fella. All along the way, we talked about the Bible, the apostles. We recited our favorite songs. And he kept reminding me, take a picture with your mind, George. Take a picture with your mind. Be sure of the sights, the way the light strikes, the sound of the river cutting through the valley. Take a picture with your mind, George. You're going to thank me one day. Well, we finally got to that mountain. And wouldn't you know, had a fence around it. I couldn't get near. That fella, he was going on. He says to me, George, this has been one of the most enjoyable days of my life. I'm never going to forget you. It's just a shame I never see you again. Not even in heaven. You see, this fella's religion believed we had no right to the wonders of heaven. Well, he made his way along, and I made my way back. If ever I got lost, I just closed my mind, closed my eyes, remember the sights, the sounds, the way the light strikes. I made my way back, even if I wasn't sure of the next step. I can still see it now. Boston is burning. A flock of voices. Mrs. Thompson! Mrs. Thompson! Shh! They're building an empty lot. A what? An empty lot. I read it in the Globe. It's what they call burning down a building for the insurance money. I heard a Jewish lady say that she hasn't seen these many fires since the war. When the fire truck's gonna come, eh? But you should know by now. They won't come. They never do. I'm too small to see. My screen is a magazine in the pavement. A raggedy ladies' home journal with a brown Naomi Sims staring up from the cover. She's hiding, sneaking, or trapped. I can't decide. Her one knee is pressed on her eye. Other knee is cut off. Is she too big for it? Or is it too small for her? A magazine cover. Her one eye half smiles. Her lips half smile. Her whole woman self seems to say, hey, I'm only half here. There's a melted partridge family clothes in play. And a headless cabbage patch doll. They too are victims of the fire. Mr. Best walks around the corner to ask the firemen to please come and bring water. They never came. They never do. Only 2 short days before, 19 Wombeck Street burned to the ground. They always burn to the ground. Once there was a neighborhood where on Indian summer nights, you might hear singing sometimes. Mi niña está bien. Irá a la universidad. Todo estará bien. What are you doing? Sleeping on the couch. Upsy, upsy. You can go to university if you can't wake up for 5th grade. To bed. To bed. No. Don't worry about the fires. Pajamas. Prayers. Let's see. Once, there was a riverbank on an island of trees and trees. Trees that grew as thick as families. And there's a lovely maiden who liked to rest on the bank of her river. But she didn't know that her riverbank grew from fallen trees, and where she slept was a bed of twisted and confused roots. Roots filled with all sorts of growing, floating, and collecting. And so she rested, and the whispering river brought her comfort until she fell asleep. And she heard heartbeat from beneath the river. She closed her eyes, moved her body, but still, heartbeat. Finally, she opened her eyes. What a sight she saw. Pressing their souls from beneath to break out of the river. Splish, splash, the water lapped. Splish, splash, the water lapped. Curious, she reached out to rescue the invisible body. And just then, the tree root fingers reached up, rose up, and snatched her into the river. She reached back for the grass, and it vanished into the earth. She reached for the earth, and it melted into her flesh. She called into far away for her mother, and only the river answered, Regina! Regina! Con huesos de barro. still smell smoke and mommy's paper breath. Boston is burning. 92 on Beck Street, burned to the ground. They always burn to the ground. Emotional lockdown maintains a safe distance from. So even if they were sure that just one tear, collectively squeezed from the whole group, would douse the fires, they would not be able to produce that droplet. Once there was a neighborhood where on sparkling spring mornings you could hear the shh, 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 and a little girl's fingers in dirt as she buries her treasures. Boston is burning. Closer to home. 87 Erie Street is burning to the ground. They always burn to the ground. The smoke is so thick that no one dares gasp at the sight of the worst fire yet. This night, the purple moon turns to black, and every star in the sky disappears. Mr. Best walks around the corner to ask the firemen to please come. But they never came. They never do. The next day, the sun refuses to shine. Once there was a neighborhood where on a cool afternoon, an insurance man conspiring towards arson might hear ladies' voices like paper airplanes shooting through the breeze. Kathy, Kathy, it's time to come home. Kathy, Kathy, it's time to come home. What's that smell? Sewage plant. Kathy, Kathy, it's time to come home. Kathy, Kathy, it's time to come home. What's that smell? Sewage plant. Another one? Well, at least it's not a fire. Kathy, Kathy, it's time to come home. Do you know what they're saying now? That we're burning ourselves down. Oh, nonsense. You know, it's true. I read it in the Globe. Oh, do you know what they call Boston now? The arson capital of America. Shh. Once, there was a neighborhood where on a sunlit day, City Councilwoman Louise Day Hicks might see a brown girl in a flowered dress racing home from the school bus to see the Dick Van Dyke Show. Someone had come along and paved over the small plots of grass that separate our home from the street. And I look up at the porch to my father, who's staring down at the pavement, and I yell, "Daddy, Daddy, how could they do this? Daddy, Daddy, how could they do this?" They, it's the same they that the adults talk about when they shake their heads and suck their teeth. This is the worst day. The worst day. It's worse than the day of the big riot at my school. It's worse than dodging milk crates flying straight from my skull. It's worse than being bashed in the face with a baseball bat right here. Right here. It's worse than hiding under a VW bug for what seemed like hours, watching the fighting. Sticks, bricks, bottles, smashing. It's worse than seeing my favorite teacher, Mr. Cronin, all bloody and wondering if now he was going to hate me too. It's worse than hearing the beat of bodies being slammed against the car I'm hiding under. It's worse than seeing shoes, a chaos of shoes, police shoes black, charged little kids' shoes cats, and the twist of bodies when the kids are caught and everybody tumbles. It's the worst day. Cowards. Opportunity. misogynistic cowards. The city struck while we were out. Parents at work, little kids at school. Cowards. I look up at the porch with my father, and I say, Daddy, Daddy, how could you let them do this? How could you let them do this? Hey, wait. I look at my father's face. His skin is tight and black, his eyes brown and balanced. His face is a mask. It's the same mask he wears when house after house burns down. It's the same mask he wears when Carol Grayboy's dog is killed just because she and her family went swimming in South Boston. It's the same mask he wears when Mr. Utley's penny candy store is robbed again. This is the first time I recognize the mask, not the man behind it. My father has no words for me. I think maybe his words have turned to vapor like Mom, and the silence separates us. Mission accomplished. The block busting is complete. The red line's noose pulled tight, paved over. Our neighborhood's now called the ghetto. They, the city, the owners, the real owners, the Federal Housing Authority, they erased the line between street and home. They murdered Grace. After that, our neighborhood developed a crust, like soil that hadn't been tilled in years. Filth, smells pile themselves up year after year. Even our dance music flowed out. The whole world rushed in. I am in the back seat of our Chevy. We're coming back from Ed and Bill Scott Harris. Comes on the radio. Do you remember that old African tale about the seasons dividing up the year? And how winter wasn't happy, and winter wanted more and more and more until there was a little bit of winter in the spring, and a little bit of winter in the summer, and a little bit of winter in the autumn, and a whole lot of winter in the wintertime. Wintertime where it's overtime. Oh, it's hot, and my open window, it doesn't help a bit. I'm escaping the present, looking through one of those flip books I used to be so crazy about. I didn't feel the knock and the bump, the final turn home, so I'm wondering, why are they stopping? I look to the right and out my window, past a whole lot of people that are outside, and past the waves and waves of heat. And no, it is not a hallucination. I do see a giant, tall as a building, brown like me, a woman, and a little man with his finger delicately pointed up. He's a two-gunslinger. He has a Colt 45 in one hand and a big gun, Colt 45 with the other. They're pointed in the woman's direction. And he's forcing her to strip. Now the car slows even more. No, it's the whole world. The whole world slows. Even the very cool Gil Scott gets cooler. Oh. Winter's like a vulture, searching for prey. Oh. slender waist, curving into hips. Her eyes, heavy lashes, pull my eyes to the direction of her face. Down, down, down. To breasts, clang, 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 an alarm of the police come. Oh. Her flesh jumbles as she tugs to loosen. Her flesh jangles as she pushes her underwear down past oil-wet knees, down past sunflower ankles, down, down, down into the ground. Feed some seeds down, 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 down past the pavement to the river that just cannot flow. I feel a bubbling burning in the back of my throat, and it feels like love to me, and I love her. I feel a bubbling burning in the back of my throat, and I hate her. I feel a bubbling burning in the back of my throat, and they both feel like shame to me. And I'm ashamed. It's winter. It's winter in America. Bang, bang, swoosh. Like steam from a kettle, the street boiled woman's flesh bursts, and her spirit comes to my window. Freedom from, freedom to, she slips into me. I take the street boiled woman with me. Her spirit bubbles, trolls, instigates, dares, snares, provokes me. She whispers, little girl. The U.S. military uses fire against the enemy. They say it puts the fear of God in them. But little girl, the real war's here at home. You better watch your ass. The same moment of the bang bang swoosh, Daddy stops the car. He has the urge to rescue. But Mom, who has not let her short, straight lashes turn her eyes in the direction of the woman's gaze, in one smooth move, she shakes her head. No. Save this family. And we drive on. We drive on. Did the police ever come? Would it have made a difference? I don't know. Because we are there. We are there. In winter in America. And it's not quite spring yet. No, I don't want to go to prom anyway. No, after I graduate from high school, I'm going to the University of Chicago. Hi. After I graduate from the University of Chicago, I'm moving to Los Angeles. No, I am not going to watch them bury Mom. I don't go to Boston anymore. Ankle deep. Yes, I will be at the airport to pick you up. 7. My mother used to sing. Existe un río debajo del río. There is a river beneath the river. Swim for strength. Pull my strength. is a river under the river. And her spirit bubbles, troubles, instigates, dares, invokes, provokes me. Science has proven my mother right. A Teutonic ship in Los Angeles splits the pavement. And inside the LA River, up jumps spring. Oh, it's wonderful. And the human body at birth is 90% water. I reach across the river, across the banks, through the embers, the fires, smells, the amazing graces. I raise my hand in the direction of my father, and then I pull him towards me. Hello, Daddy.